Gen just powers right in here, wipes out all these overlords in the natural.
He charges into that natural expansion and kills all three of those Nidus canals.
Pushing STVs out there, but he's not going to make it. This command center actually explodes.
Welcome to the Broodwar highlights. This is a match between STX Soul and Hite Sparkies. STX has been playing great StarCraft this season and have to be counted among the favourites to take the Winners League. They have a deep lineup, being carried by their two stars Calm and Cal, and have been supported well by the TVZ sniper Hwasun. Hite, on the other hand, has been slumping, going 5-6 in each of the first two rounds, and they've really become a one-player team, as Lita is the only player with a winning record this season. However, that's not such a bad thing in Winners League, as one player can take you all the way to victory.
Game 1 is on Judgment Day between STX's Frozean and Hite's Yarnc. Frozean is the Terran in bottom left, Yarnc is the Zerg in bottom right. Frozean goes for a supply depot into 2 barracks at his choke, whereas Yarnc goes for a 12-hatch build. Frozean scouting SCV starts a bunker at Yarnac's natural. Yarnac's drones come out, they drive these marines and SCV away. Frozean's forced to cancel that bunker as Yarnc puts down a sunken. He then puts down his third at 5 o'clock, whereas Frozean goes for quick tanks with siege mode. This is off of 1 base. He then waits outside Yarnac's base for that second tank, then he sieges up and starts pummeling these sunkens. He's trying to do as much damage as possible before Yarnac's 3-hatch mutas come out. They do come out and they start harassing these marines and medics, but the sunkens go down, and Frozean manages to push right through this natural and take it out. He then moves on to the third at 5 o'clock. He sets up his tanks there, while Yarnc uses his muta mobility to take out these marines that are coming across the map to reinforce. He knows that all he has to do is hold off this attack long enough for his 2-base economy to come online. He then comes in here and takes out both of those 2 tanks, but not without losing his spire. He's forced to rebuild it as main. Now Frozean, trying to reinforce with a tank, moving it across the map, these mutas force him to lose a lot of marines, sacrificing them to get these tanks across. He gets 2 there, sets up at 5 o'clock, but Yarnac's been saving up his lings and mutas. He surrounds this force and wipes it out. Then he immediately goes on the offensive. Starts harassing at Frozean's barracks, then he moves right into the main, starts attacking this missile turret, and he's just biding his time. He's on 2 gas, Frozean's on 1, and the lurkers are morphing. Frozean knows he's on borrowed time, he's got a science vessel out, he's got a large force of marines and medics. He just allows Yarnc to come in with these mutas and start taking out his SCVs. Meanwhile, he's looking at these lurkers, wondering if he can possibly get through and break in. Meanwhile, 3 more lurkers come into his base and set up at his command center. And the clock just keeps on ticking at Yarnac's base. Frozean gets a second science vessel out, he takes a deep breath, stims his marines, and just heads in there. It is absolutely disgusting. They go down after a failed bunker rush and a failed 1-base tank and marine push. Frozean has nothing left. He GG's. Yarnc holds on long enough to win Game 1 for Hite, and he's going on to Game 2.
Game 2 is being played on Fighting Spirit. STX decides to send out Calm, their ace, to bring down Yarnc. Calm starts in the bottom left as yellow. He goes with a 9-pool build, while Yarnc in the top right is brown. He goes with a gas first build. He then goes straight for layer tech as soon as his spawning pool finishes. Now Calm goes for a second hatchery instead, opting for a better economical route. Mutalisks are out early in this game for Yarnc, while Calm still doesn't have a spire up, so he's forced to put down spore colonies. Some early aggression here from Yarnc now. He's massed a lot of lings off that 1 base, and he comes charging here into Calm's natural. But Calm does a nice job to defend, despite the fact that a few troops sneak through. Now those mutalisks stick around and manage to snipe a couple drones off of Calm's mineral line, but in the same time, Calm has snuck lings into Yarnac's base, and he picks up about 3 drones there. Now Yarnc continues to harass in Calm's main. He takes out a spore colony defending the spire and then starts going to work on it. He deals a lot of damage to it before he gets driven off by some morphing spore colonies, but he manages to sneak in a couple lings here right at the end and take down this spire. He then comes in and snipes one of these many spore colonies that Calm has been forced to put up. Calm is up to about 8 or 9 spore colonies in his base. With no spire, he's just forced to defend so heavily against those mutalisks. However, Yarnc is only just now putting down his second base, so that's a big advantage for Calm. Calm has much more gas so far in this game, and then Calm charges in here while Yarnac's mutalisks are away and takes down this morphing hatchery before it can get up. After a fairly exciting game so far, this game just grinds to a halt here. Both players just sitting back in their base macroing up. Yarnc finally gets that second base up and running, but neither player is leaving his zone of control, both just sitting back and building mutalisks and Scourge. Now finally, Calm with that gas advantage has built so many mutalisks, charges right out towards Yarnac's base, but Yarnc has just a swarm of Scourge here that come in and deal a lot of damage to the mutalisks of Calm, but Calm just has too many mutalisks. GG from Yarnc. He's forced to throw in the towel here. Despite doing some good harass, taking down Calm's Spire, he's finished in this game. So Calm evens up the score at 1-1.
Game 3 is on match point. Hite sends out Gogo, their second best Terran, to try and take down Calm. Calm spawns bottom left, Gogo top right. Calm goes for a 9-pool build, which allows Gogo to set up this eBay at his natural. This actually delays him quite a bit. He sends up 5 drones to take out this eBay before he can put down his second hatchery. Gogo goes for a fast expand, whereas Calm, slightly delayed, goes for a 3-hatch build. Now here comes the hero of the game. This SCV comes out of Gogo's base and draws off all of Calm's scouting lings. He carries them all the way back to Calm's base, and Calm leaves nothing there to watch these Marines come out of Gogo's base. They come marching right across the map, completely undetected. They wait at the bottom of the ramp for the supporting Firebat and Medic. Then they come rushing in here against this one Sunken and 4 lings. Calm is completely caught off guard here. He sends out his drones and they just melt. He has got to be disappointed with such a quick and sloppy loss. Whereas Gogo comes out of the booth looking as surprised as anyone that he's so easily just taken out one of the best Zergs in the game. It is 2-1 Hite. Gogo's going on to Game 4.
Game 4 is being played on Moonglaive, and after beating Calm, Gogo will have to try and take down the other superstar on this STX team, Cal. Now, Gogo, looking nerdy as always, is 2-8 in his last 10 games versus Protoss. He's hoping to change that here. He starts out with a 2-factory build, and Cal comes up and puts some early pressure on him here. He gets a tank out late, but it does force off these troops. Back at his base, Cal has started up his natural expansion, and he's well on his way towards getting Reavers out. But Gogo's just about ready to push in with this 2-factory, and he's starting up his starport back at his base. Now he pushes right into this natural, it's completely undefended. Cal has retreated back up his ramp. Now the Reaver is out, and it's on his way towards Gogo's base. But here comes Gogo trying to push up the ramp and get into Cal's main. Cal does a nice job blocking with his probes, but he does lose a lot, but in the end he forces back these troops. Now the shuttle is almost in Gogo's base, and Gogo crucially has started up a control tower. He hasn't started building a Wraith. So this Reaver is going to have free reign in Gogo's base for a while. He drops it down, gets a huge bunch of SCVs there, and then again with this Scarab gets about another 6 SCVs there. Eventually, however, a Wraith does get out, and he manages to clean up these troops in his base. But Cal's been busy back home. He has a Templar Archives up now, and he's got Dark Templar in this shuttle heading towards Gogo's base. Gogo has no detection at all. He just rolls over and dies here for Cal. Doesn't really put up much of a fight. Throws in the GG, and that's game. Cal heading on to Game 5.
Game 5 is on Roadrunner. In order to take down Cal, Hite sends out their Zerg player and Protoss sniper, Hogil. His winning percentage against Protoss is 70% compared to a combined 30 against Zerg and Terran. He quickly expands to 3 bases, going for the typical 5-hatch build, whereas Cal fast expands and then goes for 2 Stargate Corsairs. He does quite a bit of harassing, Overlords, and a lot of Scourge, until Hogil's ready to push out with Hydras, which are quickly morphing into Lurkers. He camps at the end of Cal's 2 bridges, whereas Cal runs a large group of Zealots up around the top of the map, hoping for a backstab. He runs right into Hogil's natural, where there's a lot of Hydras waiting for him. He takes out quite a few Hydras, then runs straight up that ramp into Hogil's main. He takes out a few drones there, but there's a Sunken to defend. Meanwhile, down at the 4 o'clock expansion, he's got a Dark Templar sniping drones there. He then expands to 10 o'clock for his 3rd Nexus, where Hogil almost immediately starts putting some pressure. Cal, rather than defend, goes down to the 4 o'clock ramp to try and get in there. Hogil runs right through this expansion, whereas he defends at his ramp with these Lurkers and Hydras. He snipes a few Observers with Scourge, which is key, and forces Cal to retreat back. Now this stalls Cal for about a minute or so, but he quickly regroups and attacks these Hydras at 10 o'clock from his base and surrounds them with his other troops from the field. He wipes these out, and he starts his 3rd. Meanwhile, Hogil is expanding to the 6 o'clock spot with some Lurkers and a good force there to defend. But Cal's been very good about sniping Overlords, and he comes in here and takes out the last Overlord at 6 o'clock, then runs in with 3 DTs and starts wiping out these Lurkers and Lings. Reinforcements come from Hogil, as well as some Overlords, but he gets right down in there and starts to take out this hatchery, but the Nidus comes up, the Lurkers and reinforcements come through, and he manages to fight off these DTs for the time being. But here come the Corsairs again. They take out the Overlords again, and now Cal's coming in with his whole army from the top, as well as bringing the DTs down the ramp from the right. He throws a nice Psystorm down on this Nidus Canal, and Hogil's actually forced to plague the DTs in order to see them. But it's not enough. Cal manages to run right in here and take out that hatchery. He's now fully mining at his 3rd, has also added a 4th at 11 o'clock, and is now adding a 5th Nexus down at 7 o'clock. But here comes Hogil with a very minimalist attack, just a few Lings and a Defiler. He Dark Swarms there, and takes out that 11 o'clock expansion. Meanwhile, Cal goes on the offensive down at this 4 o'clock ramp again, just blanketing it with Storm, while Hogel runs through with the same Lings and Defiler and takes out the Nexus at 10 o'clock. He then expands up to the 1 o'clock expansion, and Cal's now only fully mining from one base, so he quickly expands to 6 o'clock and then 7 o'clock. Both players basically cut the map in half and have about a 15-minute ceasefire, with basically just this failed drop from Hogel. After over 35 minutes of gameplay, Cal comes out with these Reavers and Archons, throws down some nice storms, he wipes out the mining base at 12 o'clock, then moves right in, wipes out the 11 o'clock, and then he walks right over and takes out 1 o'clock. Hogel's left with no more mining bases. He GG's, and Cal takes STX up to a 3-2 lead.
Game 6 is being played on Tornado, Cal coming out again and trying to pick up 3 wins in a row here and pick up a win for STX. He has to face Lita though, the all-star player on Hite Sparkies. Cal goes for a greedy build in this game, putting down a 12 Nexus, and he gets punished for it. Lita sees this coming, scouts it, and then sends out 6 SCVs with his first Marine. He lays down a bunker just outside this Nexus after it's spawned, and he takes it down. A very nice play by him. Eventually, Cal builds up enough troops to take out this bunker, and then he quickly restarts his Nexus immediately after, while at the same time, Lita is starting up his command center at his natural. Now, Lita's macroed up a lot of tanks and then starts pushing out to make a slow push towards Cal's main base. But Cal's gone Reaver tech, and while those tanks are out in the field, he comes and drops 2 Reavers into Cal's main base and nets a lot of SCVs here. He even takes out a tank here, and eventually, Lita is able to take this out. After clearing out these troops at his main, Lita continues to push towards the natural and third base of Cal. Now he has no third base of his own, so he needs to succeed with this push and do some damage. But here come the Zealots and Goons and push in on Lita and deal a ton of damage to him, but they can't clear out this push completely. So Lita's able to re-establish and start working his way towards that third base, basically knocking right on the doorstep of that third base. Now with his third base being threatened, Cal comes charging in here to the main base of Lita. He deals a lot of damage to these SCVs and manages to rout them all, chasing them all away to the natural. But his third base is under attack as well, and it's about to go down from tank fire here. Now Cal makes the move of the game here. He flanks Lita's army by going all the way around and then pushing into this natural while putting up his 4th base. He gets right into the main here and takes down these tanks, then pushes right up towards the command center. Lita is forced to bring his entire force back from that push, and he's trying desperately to repair this command center and take out these goons before it goes down, but he can't do it and the command center goes down. Lita knows he's in trouble in this game. He's down 3 bases to 1, and here comes Cal with some Dark Templar, dropping them into the base, takes out the last remaining Comsat for Lita, and Lita is out of this game. A nice play by him, nice play by both these players, a good game, but Cal comes through with 3 wins for STX and manages to take this series.